What's up, everybody? It's Matt from the house, and in this video we're going to talk to you about the different bends from Lib Tech and Gnu. Let's check these out. So when it comes to boards made by Mervin, you're going to have rocker dominant boards and you're going to have some camber dominant boards. And all of these boards are a hybrid technically. They do have some rocker and they have some camber, but it's good to know what's what for when you're looking at the different kinds of boards, because some people have a little bit different preferences. So right off the bat, they have boards like the Be Nice, where they have what they call their original banana. And basically what it is it's a rocker in between your feet and then a little bit of camber on the nose and tail. Their original banana board back in the day, the Skate Banana, was actually rockered with just flat to the nose and tail, but then they found if they added a little bit of camber to it, it actually gave it a little bit more snap, a little bit more pop, and made it a little bit more aggressive. But this one just has that mild camber, so it's just a nice, easy feel, and it also gives the tips a little bit more height. So for those beginner and intermediate style riders and people that don't want a board that's super fast edge to edge and don't really need that extra snap and pop, that's basically going to benefit them. So then when you go to the C2 is essentially the exact same thing, but it just has a little bit more camber in the nose and tail. Still has that rocker in the middle, camber in the nose and the tail, but again, that camber has got a little bit more, so it's going to bring the tips down a little bit. It's going to make for a board that wants to get on edge a little bit quicker. You can obviously think if your board is down in the nose and you go to tip it up, it's going to hit the snow way faster than a board that has it higher up. So that's what that C2 is. And then you're also going to see the C2X, where it actually has more camber. That's really just depends on that specific board. More camber is basically going to have more snap and more pop. Less camber is going to have a little bit easier feel. And then when you go to the C3, and this one can be a little bit more confusing. So this TRS has C3. So it still is a rocker to camber. We're still having rocker in the middle of the board, and we're having camber in the nose and tail, but this is a camber dominant board. So the best way to actually demonstrate that is actually if we move these boards. So if we take this board and you actually notice this is actually rocker dominant. The rocker is in the middle, camber in the nose and tail, but the tips are actually lifted off of the snow. So when we get into the C3, basically what that is it has a light amount of rocker in the middle of the board, but it's mostly cambered. So yeah, it's camber in the nose and tail, rocker in the middle, but you can see that the middle of the board is what's lifted up. So it is camber dominant. Basically what it is, a great way to kind of describe it is, over exaggerating, this is rocker camber, the C2. This is C3. So very big camber, light rocker in the middle. So what this does is very similar to what the rocker dominant board does, but it just does it in a little different way. Some people like the camber because it has that snappier, livelier, quicker feel. Also, it pushes your contact points into the snow, so your board wants to be on edge all the time. And we'll leave a link in the description down below to our video about board bends, so you can kind of tell the difference there. But basically by adding that small pocket of rocker into the middle of this camber dominant board, it brings the middle of the board down a little bit. So when you go to put this board on edge, you actually have to work less to push the middle of the board down. You're standing outside of that camber zone in the middle, so to really get effective pressure in the middle of the board, you do need to push in a little bit, even when you get this thing up on edge, to really flex that middle down and push it down. Obviously, if we take that camber and we add a little bit of rocker, it dips the middle of the board, so you do have to work a little bit less. Also, when you get into some deeper snow, it actually does create kind of a teetering point. So if we get in that deeper snow and you don't have to sit back as far, you basically just have to move back a little bit, and then the board itself actually wants to sit down. So it basically makes those boards ride a little bit easier in that deeper snow, so you don't have to lean back as much and work as hard. So again, C3 is technically a cambered board. Just has a little bit of rocker in the middle, but it does things a little differently than a traditional rockered board. All right, well, thanks for checking out our video about the Lib Tech and Gnu bends and what the differences are. If you got any questions about what we talked about, definitely leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We want to make sure we get you into rad gear, but most importantly, we want to make sure it's going to fit you and your riding style. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, definitely get that bell on too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. And whether you like a rocker dominant board or a camber dominant board, get bored and get out and ride, because any day riding is a good day riding.